Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. Big A Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling. Big Saturday here at the Big A. 10-race card today.
Fun card tomorrow
10
as
tomorrow.
well.
We agree too much today. It's not much
know.
fun. I don't get much make fun of you. And the horse I was really looking forward to making fun of you about a scratch, which is even worse. I'm kind of disappointed, actually.
I knew that was kind of a.
Oh, you have one totally moronic pick today.
He was going to scratch, or he was going to be the
Or run
point
last.
of contention.
Well, he was the bet against in the race, and you had him second. Nevertheless, the last 2 days before
You want to just
break.
give them the 10 winners and I'll go?
No.
You sure? Okay.
No, you know, it's a little vacation, a little break, 10-day break.
Yeah?
Looking forward, you know what I'm looking forward to? Monday they draw that Santa Anita opening day card. That Malibu is going to be a race, not to miss, Saturday the 26th.
We don't draw until the 27th for the Thursday.
I'm well aware of that.
Thursday.
I'm well aware of
28th.
that. 28th, Monday.
That's great. Everybody gets a little time.
Yeah, I wish we drew a little earlier, a little more time to work on it.
It's good that everybody gets a little time.
What's different? They could draw on the 30th for you. It wouldn't make any difference. Anyhow.
29th.
The 30th. Anyhow, you need to head over to Naira Bets. You need to be a member of Naira Bets. Give yourself this present. Do the right thing. Become a member of Naira Bets Sport Racing in New York.
Do the Right Thing was on the other night.
Excellent movie.
Love
I
it.
saw a day it opened at that old Worldwide Theater. It was in the basement of that building on 50th. Another theater long gone from Manhattan. Promo code is match200. They never used to get crowds, and it was sold out all over town. And I went there, and it was half full.
Great film.
Yes, absolutely.
Great film.
Do you know the joke? I shouldn't tell it. People might get offended. Anyhow, involves one of the actors in that movie. I think I've told it to you. Anyhow, we'll match $200 your sign-up
I don't think
bonus.
so.
About the
Maybe
guy
later.
driving down the mountain. Whatever.
No.
Another time.
Mookie makes $250 a week. That's all I know.
It's amazing people in that. John Turturro, Richie Edson, his brother in that.
Yeah.
Besides, yeah.
I couldn't think of his name the other day.
Richie Edson? Well, you ever see Strangers in Paradise?
A while ago.
Strangers in Paradise, a great movie with
He
John Lurie and Richie Edson, the two guys.
For horse racing fans, he most famously plays the bookie's lackey in Let It Ride.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Really. Don't they go to the Greyhound races in
Do the Right Thing?
No, Strangers in Paradise.
Perhaps.
I feel like they do. I always thought Jim Jarmusch could make a good racetrack movie. He's a sensibility of like racetrack people. I thought he could have really done a good job. You know what's a good movie he made? Only Lovers Left Alive with Tilda Swinton about the old vampires in Detroit. Oh, it's a great movie. Anyhow, we digress. Or something like that.
We normally do.
So race number 1, we'll take a look at back channel running second, 2 back. This is normally the kind of horse I think both of us would be sort of searching to try to beat. And it is a funny distinction with horses, because she is good. She's the kind of horse to win this race and easily win her next condition. Has she been a bit of a sucker, or has she been unlucky? Well, she lost to a Juddmonte Chad Brown horse that hasn't run back, that looks like a possible stakes quality horse last time. She beat Undine, who came back to break her maiden. This horse came back to win, that beat her, and, this was a very good effort. Papa Chalk is good. She ran subsequent races. It just seems like she's been a little unlucky. She's got to win today, though. I mean, she has to beat this one.
This is now or never. This is now or never, I would think, yes. I don't even think this counts as us agreeing today, because it's...
What are you supposed to do in here?
Who are you going to find? I mean, I'm going to try Risk Model.
See, Risk Model is a terrible... See, I think Risk Model is the weak link in here. She may run second. What about the 1? I thought this was your kind of horse. Your man, Bill Mott. This is not a turf pedigree.
No, it's not, but how about running this horse long on the turf, now cutting back to a dirt sprint?
Who knows? I'm going to her second.
Yeah, right, I know.
I mean, Risk Model, yeah, she might run second, but my gosh, she's not much. Honestly.
Listen, I don't know what else to do here.
Well, I'll tell you who's a little interesting, honestly, is the horse I bet the other day, Rapido Gata. How many horses do I bet that can't get out of the gate, by the way? And this horse never had gate issues before. At least yesterday in the first race, that horse had got left the first time. So the fact that it got left, you can't really, I can't complain about the 5 being left the first time. But I bet a horse that got left 3 lengths first time out. Now, often they don't the second time, but you can't be shocked when it happens again. Whereas Rapido Gata she fell to her face. That was a bad, bad stumble in that race. And, I mean, she's got dirt races that are good enough, so I'm supposed to have a little 2-7
I love
here.
you, man. We got to give up on her.
Why? Because she finally got back to dirt and she fell on her face in the start?
Andy, that's
No,
fine.
you're wrong.
That's fine. That's
She's
fine.
100 to 1 today. I can have a 2-7 exacta.
do whatever you like. It's America. Just go right on your
It's
phone.
the racetrack, actually.
Go right on
It's
your
the
phone.
racetrack.
Is that like, is that
A microcosm? It's a microcosm of the world that you and I live in.
That's what I used to say. I used to tell people, when you go through these gates, it's a completely different world. I used to use that line all the time. So you're not wrong. I don't want to say you made a great point, but it's borderline.
I love watching head-ons.
It's coming.
They're funny.
It's coming. It's a borderline.
So
good
race
point.
number 2.
3-wide run.
The horse to beat is the number 5, Blame It on Mary. We'll go back to her last fast track start, and this was a stake race up at Finger Lakes behind Party at Pages and Summer Brew, where she ran a respectable third. I don't have a real knock on her. She looks like, this is one where I like about the pace projector, because the pace projector has her as the main speed. Don't you think the 10, she's a dirty dancer?
Has to make an attempt
With
at least,
Charlie
right?
Marquez is going to be aggressive and
Yeah.
at least be forward in here. So while I'm not saying she's not the speed, I thought she'd get a little more pressure than the pace projector suggested.
Don't disagree. I don't disagree. And this is where, when you use the pace projector, to my knowledge, it does not take into account.
Big user of the pace projector that you are.
No, I'm just saying the draw, and from outside, yeah, Charlie Marquez has the option to see just how fast Dylan Davis and Blame It on Mary are going, but you don't want to lose too much position. I would have to think he's going to use this Philly speed from out there.
Yeah, I thought she would probably go. So why, my friend?
And they both got to go.
Why do you like
6.5? By
Why
the
do
way.
you like Valorant?
Well, there were two tips in the debut: the winner and Valorant. Caught at wet track. More often than not, I like to give them another chance. I don't think she ran that terribly. I think I'm hoping for some improvement on a fast track. I like Charlie's horses don't ordinarily.
That's Charlie Baker.
Charlie Baker's horses don't ordinarily shoot bullets in the morning. So I said a bullet before our debut. I'm going to chalk it up to the wet track, even though I don't think she ran
Maybe she's just
terribly.
a good workhorse.
But all of the works aren't bullets. So, no, I think that Charlie, there's intent to get her sharp for her race. Is a bullet before the first race, is a bullet before this race.
Let me ask you another question. You didn't watch her last race, but in her last race, Jose Ortiz completely and totally dragged her out of the race early. Now, I have to imagine those were the instructions. I don't mean that as a criticism. I don't think it worked. So while Eric Cancel was riding and had a great day yesterday, 3 wins for Eric, he's not an aggressive rider. But I'd like to think that he and Charlie, and I'm not saying she's going to be in front, but I'd like to think they do a better job of letting her find her position, because taking her out of the race may have kind of broken her spirit a little bit too.
That could very well be the case. In here, I don't think that would hurt her chances with speed.
I don't think it's ever wrong. It's
Yeah.
ever wrong to let your horse find its own position. I don't really understand the mentality of taking horses out of their position. You think about.
I don't understand the mentality of leaving the gate grabbing.
Yeah.
You want to send, that's one thing. You want to just let them break and find their own spot, that's fine. That's the biggest issue, and obviously if you just keep going backwards, that's where the issue starts in the gate, where these guys and gals come out of there, and they got 2 handfuls of horse.
Too much decision before the race
Before the
run.
gate opens.
And that's
No-
one of the
no
things.
question
That's
about
one of
it.
the things that Jose Lozcano does not do.
He lets them
He
break.
allows the race to dictate where. In fact, he's more aggressive, just in case the race doesn't go, and I think it's to his benefit. I even thought the one Pleasure Luck was a little bit interesting in here from Mark Hennig. This horse ran in June, ran a 38 Beyer. Well, I didn't love the field, but the 4th horse came back and improved 14 points. I don't know. Maybe that race wasn't that bad. Make Mischief's not good, but it's not a disaster area. And maybe, this is a horse could easily run a figure in the mid-50s, which makes her a contender in here. What a Big Tony's girl. I don't think she's impossible. I know she's coming out of a maiden claiming race.
Took a ton of money
Took a
that
ton of
day.
money, and she actually ran very well. She ran arguably the best race there. She probably shouldn't have lost. Ended up being, it just a little more forward than helped her chances late in the race.
Yeah.
I just think, I think a lot of people are going to see with Big Tony's girl, a maiden claiming race. I don't know. Who's so good in here? And if Barker's horse doesn't, obviously she has a big figure second time out. I don't totally trust it. If she runs that race, she's probably going to win.
Oh, if she runs the race too bad, yeah. I would agree with that.
Race number 3, we'll take a look at Invaluable. It is odd going back to 6 furlongs. Once again, I think Patty Reynolds is trying to just find spots she's eligible for. I don't know. She's in such good form. I know she lost her last race. What happened here, and this is interesting, is the horse who's second, and I bet the horse who's second, she was trying to lug in, and I thought Eric was doing the right thing. He's trying to get outside of her, but then Invaluable drifts, and when she drifts,
he just let
Eric sort of has
drop
no
in.
choice. But when she does that, the winner, Tenderfoot, actually gets more comfortable because she wanted to jump over the rail. Once she got herself into the rail, she actually got more comfortable and more forward.
Once he dropped down in there, he was able to.
Well, she wanted to lug in, and once she got to the inside, right,
She
it was
tried the
he's
boys
against
last time.
Invaluable.
That was a big effort. Listen, God bless you, it's true. If Invaluable runs either of her last two races, she's going to win this in a common gallop.
Well, she's going to win this race. Yeah, she's better than
those last two. I mean,
they're better than these. I couldn't agree more. I agree.
She was a tough horse to, and unlike the maidens in the second race, the maidens in the first race, even though Back Channel, looks death and taxes today, you feel like a horse that has some serious form, has shown a lot of consistency lately. This is a horse where you can, if you play in the early pick 4, pick 5, you can really lean on her.
Yeah, she's not going to be 8 to 5.
No,
She's going to be 4 to 5.
She's going to be 4 to 5.
We'll look at the Sirenic race that she comes out of with Fair Lassie. And, this is a case where I guess if you're Eric Cancel, you say, well, she ran really well. I don't think you can criticize the ride. I disagree. I don't know why he wanted to take her back so much in this race. She's not slow. Pace Projector has her in front in this race. Now, I don't expect her to be in front after the ride, but I don't know. This was an awful lot of ground to have to make up. What I don't understand is why you, and you're not the only person I know, I think Mike Beer may agree with you, has Fair Lassie ahead of Sirenic. I thought Sirenic ran 1,000 times better than Fair Lassie did last time. Fair Lassie got a very nice trip, a comfortable move up inside. That Joey Martinez rode the horse well. Are we assuming that Carl Broberg is going to come here and be some sort of claiming whiz?
I don't know if I'm assuming that. I'll tell you what I am assuming, though. She's not. Why was she so far back last time?
Fair Lassie?
Her 3 of her wins have been gate to wire.
I agree, but isn't the Ford and the Ford still just run a lot better than she did? I know she's a much shorter price, but.
Yeah, I know. I want some. After that was a weird race last time. That was just a strange race. It looked like there was going to be a bunch of speed.
Right, nobody went, and 100 to 1 shot wins wires the field.
That was a strange, an oddly run race. I'm just wondering if Fair Lassie's going to be in closer range today, and she's going to be twice the price as Serena.
Okay, I don't want you to look at your PPs. I want you to make a guess within 100 of how many horses Carl Broberg has claimed in the last 5 years.
In the last 5 years?
Yes.
450.
1,386. 930 of them were sprinters. He wins at a 27% clip, but his ROI is around $1.75. He slightly beats the takeout, which is, I'm not knocking
How about
him.
the last, what did you say the number was?
I know the number of the paper. I know the number you're going to look at. That's why I told you not to look at it.
No, I'm saying half of them have been in the last 2 years.
I understand. That's why.
Wow.
I understand. 1,386 horses he's claimed.
That's Steve Asmussen-esque. Steve claims a lot of horses too.
No, he doesn't. Not even.
They don't do it here, out of town.
Anthony, he's not even. I don't even think he's in the same. I'll look it up after. One of my friends can look it up. I'll bet you he doesn't claim a third of the horses over the last 5 years that Steve that Broberg's claimed.
I would think Steve would claim 100 a year, 2 a week. 2 a week's not a lot of horses. With all the places he has horses.
Okay, well, somebody feel free to. David, do me a favor, Aragona. Look up how many horses Steve Aspen claimed in the last 5 years. I don't even think it's in, maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, I don't like that horse. I think the reason to like it is probably that people think it was in the kickback. I wonder if Behind the Couch will run okay in this race. I actually think she ran fine last time, improvement. I know she was the speed, nothing wrong with that race. Niles Seville did a good job of this horse off the claim. I thought she could get a piece. But Invaluable's supposed to win.
Yeah.
Race number 4. Race number 4 is an interesting race. But please, do share why you've picked a horse that has absolutely no chance.
We finally disagree.
Well, one of us was doing hard drugs or something while they were handicapping this race.
No.
Or drinking or fell in the head or
wasn't
wrote the
doing
wrong
any
number
drugs.
down or what would you possibly like a horse that's going to get bet off a phony turf win?
Why do you think she's going to get bet off?
Because they do. Because they get bet off phony turf win. She's only 6 to 1 morning line. She's 60 to 1 in the paper.
She ran twice on the dirt to start her career.
Yes, she did. Quite a bunch of races.
She ran into Taraz,
Okay.
the ill-fated Taraz.
Okay.
And she ran into Aunt Nadine. Now,
Speaking
I'm not
of Steve
going to
Asmussen claims.
I'm not going. Yep. I'm not going to base my case on those two races. I'm going to base my case on the fact that her first two turf races, one in January of this year and one in September. Obviously, when she got here and she started facing the state breds, she woke up. And Dave Donk has taken a lot of horses this year. Musical Heart, the other horse whose name I'm forgetting right now, and he has improved a lot of these horses. This one, I think, got better dropping into the state bred competition. Stays with the state breds, gets back to they ran this horse on dirt the first two times when there's plenty of turf options down at
Dave didn't
Churchill.
improve Musical Heart particularly. I mean, a little bit, but she's been in the right situations. Well, here's the problem with Screamin' By. The race two back, she's completely flattered by the fact that that it's sort of the Robin Sparkles race sort of enhances, and that's the way turf races are run, the bigger figures. As far as Steve Asmussen has 522 claims over the last 5 years, by the way. So about 38% as many as Broberg has, 36%. Thank you, David. We just disagree. I think she got incredibly lucky to win last time. It was a race that featured a pace that completely fell apart. Listen, good luck. I think she's supposed to be 15 to 1 if you like her, and she's obviously not going to be that price. But we just disagree. That's fine. Who's the worst to beat here? Miss Jimmy? Isn't she kind of amazing? 14 times first and second with 8 wins. It was a much better field last time she ran. She's just very logical here, isn't she?
Yes. Yeah. I just wanted a little bit of a fuzzy because she's
I don't see it, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted a little bit of a fuzzy.
Okay. Good luck. If I lose, I hope you win. Austin Debates won a 2 for Charlie Baker. We'll take a look at her winning last March, and then we'll show you stats for Charlie. He's not that bad. Off of these kind of layoffs with these horses, not great numbers. The problem with her is she beat Well and Josie even in this race. Is she really supposed to beat these horses?
No. Yeah, and you see Waylon Josie behind her, and that's always an issue. She got a really good trip just sitting right outside the speed that day and took over on the turn. Yeah, I mean, she can win. I put a third in here, but
I like the other Charlie Baker.
Yeah.
We'll show you the Charlie Baker stat, by the way. It's 643. It's not a great percentage, but the ROI is okay. I love that picture of Charlie. I like Forever Changed in here. You look at her, she ran very, very well behind Newly Minted in that stake at Saratoga. Then the next time she runs,
looked like she was going to win that race.
Run off her feet in a race that was 1,000 times tougher than this one. Then she tried a mile and a 16th in the distaff. Then last time out, I mean, Kansas Kiss is a Verline Stakes quality horse, center aisle, glass ceiling, who improved remarkably off the claim. That was a very tough race. She's taking a significant drop in here, and I thought she made a lot of sense in this race.
Okay.
Oh, so we're still at 55. We split yesterday. I'll tell you what. I'll take 2 over 6.
Sure.
2 lunches? 1 or 2?
2's fine.
Okay.
It sounds like you don't like my horse at all. I don't like your horse at all.
I agree. I agree. I feel even better. I'll be making a big bet here. At least I got something to look forward to. I just go 1 by 1 by 1, single our 3 horses in the first 3 races. Race number 5. We're going to take a look at the $725,000 California Chrome workout. Now, my question to you is the number 4 Inspiration Point. Where does the name come from?
I have no idea.
Really? I asked Miramati this. He didn't know it either.
In my head, I would probably.
No. You either know or you don't know.
I know it's a reference.
It's a TV show.
To a TV show, and
with a character who's based on you in the movie, in the show.
I can't remember. It's an older show.
The makeout spot in Happy Days.
Yeah. I
Inspiration
knew it was an
Point. How
older
could you
show.
not know that?
I couldn't remember.
So not a bad workout.
I don't remember it.
Not a bad workout. I thought this horse ran okay. They were asking most of the way, but that was a pretty solid workout. That is some work. This is the second foal. The first one ran a buyer of 16, so there's only one way to go, and that's up. It's a lot of money for this horse. They left this horse up here. Purses are great. They're much better than the maiden specials at Gulfstream. But, wow.
I was given a big story on this horse.
Oh, really? Big story? Big story. Big surprise. 722,500. They like this one.
I was given a big story on this horse.
Meanwhile,
Big story on this horse.
speaking of big stories, big day for Run Happy yesterday.
That horse.
Nikki DeVest?
How about Jonathan Thomas taking the picture? Figured he would have been down at Gulfstream by now, no?
No, I don't think he's down there, is he?
That horse was a jig jog yesterday, huh?
That horse ran. That horse got an 82
82,
buyer,
you said?
going a mile, first-time starter.
Fastest.
Suddenly
David-
Run Happy.
David-
Suddenly Run Happy's looking better. You know, I'm not saying that Run Happy's going to turn out to be a great sire, and obviously he did not have a particularly special year, though this horse
was 1
sure
year.
sings a lot. The idea that wasn't Curlin kind of a bust in his first year?
Do you remember back in? And I know you do. So this is kind of.
Yes,
a
I
loaded
remember
question.
back in the day.
Do you remember back in the day when farms gave stallions 5 or 6 years to?
No, I don't remember that because I didn't pay attention to that.
Oh.
That's not the point.
I remember that.
They didn't give Run Happy 5 or 6 years, so let's not get carried away. Having said that, the point is to condemn him off of one mediocre
yeah,
year,
I don't get it.
and suddenly he looks a lot better when he's got this horse who can clearly run.
This horse can run.
You know, it
This horse
changes
is
things a
going a
lot. And
mile.
I'm not saying
David
he's
tweeted the fastest mile of the 5-mile race
It was.
he ran yesterday.
It was. Well, we all knew it. All of us. David texted me. My friend Steve was talking about it. We were all talking about how fast that horse ran yesterday. That horse ran faster than the race before that. And, you know, I think...
He looked, and you know what? He ran from the bell.
He was a
to the
winner every
wire.
step of the way.
Yep.
Now he's got to come back and he's got to show he can do it again. But it certainly didn't hurt for Run Happy. And listen, the reality is, let's be honest, because of all of the PR about Run Happy, it encourages a lot of people to make fun of him if he does poorly. I mean, that's the risk you take when you do something like that. Meanwhile, I'm not going to criticize a guy who's supporting the game.
Putting a ton of money
did,
into
did
the
a lot,
game.
Did a lot to help us. Did a lot to help us put the show on.
A lot of keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
Keyboard
But to be fair, if I didn't work here, I'd be joking about it too. So I don't want to. Well, you have to be honest. You can't just sit
I'm being
here
honest.
and
He doesn't just spend his money here, though. Spends his money in a lot of
You can't
places.
just sit here and constantly shill. You're asking for it if you do that and it doesn't work out.
Oh, yeah.
Having said, that's all I'm saying. In
Yeah,
today's
you are.
world.
You
I'm
kinda
not saying
are.
it's
Right.
necessarily
I mean, it's
fair.
everywhere. You see the
Right.
signs everywhere. I
Right.
get that, but to chastise somebody for putting his money up
Into the game,
and into the game that we all
supporting the
love,
game.
I mean,
right.
it's ridiculous.
Helping us put the TV show on. A lot of
It's
people like the
ridiculous.
TV show. Well, without people
And like I said,
like Matt
it's not
supporting
just
it.
it's the Run Happy Malibu in 2 weeks. You know, the money's everywhere. So
Yep, I agree.
a week, not even 2 weeks. The Malibu's.
Will there
from
be a
today.
California Chrome? Has he had any success in his first year?
He's had a couple of winners, nothing crazy.
So I picked him second. I put the 9. Mom's on top. I don't love Mom's last race, but he does come out of that race that was dominated up front. Wolfie's Dynagos looks like a real runner. Wayburn did come back and win.
They tried to get cash on the turf, so you can't really hold.
I
that
don't
against
love
them.
this horse's first race because the race was falling apart. In reality, Joel might have moved microscopically early, not as a criticism, more as a in result. I don't know. I just wanted an alternative. I didn't like anybody else. We'll see. Inspiration Point will probably win, but it's also going to be 3 to 5.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't really need that horse as a super short price.
Yeah. Didn't really hear anything on the Clement Firster by George down at the inside.
He's left some horses up here.
Yeah.
He's one of those Claiborne jump sucker things.
Yep.
Group. I know they.
Todd
they've got
Pletcher
some
has
horses.
another Firster, number 3, 2 Boss, and El Padrino.
That's an odd horse for Todd to be claiming.
Mm-hmm.
No, a homebred, PA bred, El Padrino.
You know who his best PA bred was?
Todd's, El Padrino.
Princess of Silmar.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. By the way, El Padrino, he's a good horse.
El Padrino is a half to Verrazano, I think.
Did El Padrino break his maiden the day we ran 2 races
could
in
be
the
wrong.
snow at Snow? He's a half to somebody good.
I think it's
he broke
Verrazano.
his maiden in an off-the-turf race in the snow at Belmont on closing weekend when they canceled, like after 2 races when
Oh,
it was
maybe.
snowing.
Oh, yeah,
remember that?
maybe.
I think
Slot-
El
in the
Padrino.
slot?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
El
I think you're
Padrino
right.
off the turf. I kind of remember Jason and I kind of watching it up on the set and thinking like it was just freezing out there, and probably somebody who no longer works in racing could write an article criticizing us for dressing warmly in the cold. Anyhow, a lot of axes to grind. It's racing. We'll be right back.
This guy's fired up today.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
We're back. We've been wasting a lot of time, so let's get to work. This
Oh,
sixth
wow.
race at Aqueduct is a very, very interesting race. With a 9 scratch, it changes thing, a good horse to bet against. They did scratch some of the speed out, though nobody's as fast as Chateau. He won at 6.5 last year. Maybe he'll last. Maybe Rob Atras will get one of these service horses home. I don't know. I do think cost basis is dangerous. I knew you'd take him. He's going to be relatively short in here. I think he still has to take a step forward from his last race, but that was a good start for him.
I don't disagree, but I think when all is said and done, he might just be the most talented horse in this race. Has he shown it yet? No, he hasn't shown it yet, and he's going to have to step up.
You don't think the horse I'm going to show here, Montauk Traffic, might not be the most talented horse in the race? He was running these races early in his 3-year-old year.
He's the other one.
His Gotham was pretty darn good. I mean,
he's done very little. He's done very little wrong.
He's got plenty of right, is what he's done.
Yeah, he's done very little wrong.
Horseman talk.
You know, I worry. Sometimes Linda's horses need one off the break. This is a pretty long break.
She doesn't have bad numbers off the break.
They're not terrible.
She doesn't know they're good. You're wrong. She has good numbers off layoffs. Her horses run off layoffs. Everybody's horses sometimes need a race. But she has solid numbers off the break. I'm not in love with this horse, but I think this, I mean, you talk about cost basis.
Oh, I do too.
And this horse is going to be a bigger price than cost basis, and I think this horse is better than cost basis based on what he's on the track. I'm not saying they don't both have upside, and cost basis has recency.
On the call-in show on HRN, I've actually, in the last month and a half, I would say, got 2 phone calls on this horse, asking where this horse was. And I kind of remembered who he was.
That's why he showed up.
No, I'm just saying. I kind of remember who he was, and I kind of, you know,
Let me give you the number. Linda, for 180 days on the dirt, 27 for 120, 23%, and a $1.83 ROI. So she's losing half the takeout, and she's winning at almost a 25% clip. That's not; those are strong numbers.
Yeah.
And by the way, with a very big sample size. So I'm going to tell you, she does fine with these horses.
Yeah, they're the 2 horses that probably have the most blue sky.
Now, as far as my horse, the 2, Mitre, Por Ciento, I think if I was going to pick these 3 horses, he is far and away the 3rd likeliest of the 3 I have, 1, 2, 3. He's also going to be a much, much bigger price, and the name of the game is about value. And my friend Steve was making an interesting point. This horse does have some gait issues, and breaking from the inside could be a problem for this horse. So I'm fully prepared. I'm going to bet a horse is going to break slow again, and I have nobody to blame but myself for betting the horse, and that's fair. What about this horse suggested to Mike Maker that you were supposed to be running him long repeatedly? And you know, I think Mike Maker is one of the best trainers in the game.
He did it 3 times.
Why? Why? So he's a sprinter.
Well, he really did it twice because he lost the rider. But yes, I don't disagree. I don't
think his last race was bad because he dueled with the winner of the race, who's pretty good, Lone Rock. And I don't think he ran that badly in there. I thought this horse is okay.
Lone Rock was 1st or 2nd time Diodoro. Claimed him off Mott up in Saratoga. I can't remember which one it was.
Anyway, this horse beat Fortin Hill. This is the putover horse we were trying to remember that day for the in.
Yep.
I thought the horse was a little interesting getting back to a sprint. I don't understand why Mike was so insistent. But I'll be honest with you, there's other horses here. Mad Monies is in career form, the 5.
Claim back for Rudy.
Vici has got some weird races to give him a chance. I wonder if he's sort of tailed off a little bit. Where did Inter Miami's last race come from?
No
I don't know how he
idea.
runs it here. His last race was very good. Yeah. And let me tell you, like Juan Carlos Guerrero comes here, they run.
Yeah, this is different than some of the other guys and gals that ship up.
He comes
here with a purpose.
I don't really like this horse, and what's he going to do with Chateau?
Right. What's he going to do with Chateau? That's the big question is what's he going to do with Chateau?
Well, it's a good race.
Maybe the question becomes what's Chateau going to do with him if the pedal's to the metal? I don't know. But Chateau is fast.
Chateau is one of the fastest horses in the game. So
yeah.
I'm not sure that I agree with that. Race number 7. Race number 7 is supposed to have a pretty quick pace, isn't it? They're going to be moving here in race number 7, and we'll look at a horse that you like, Vineyard Sound, who's the horse to beat, who should be part of the pace. Let me ask you one question about Vineyard Sound. Does it bother you that he was entered, even if he was scratched, for $12,000?
Yeah, of course.
That bothers me, Ian. That's why I couldn't put him on top.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember when he was in. Was it
last Sunday? It was the race that was won by about 2 weeks ago by You Got Old, You Got Sold. Andre Warren gave the horse a great ride. That big
when he
field.
beat Fox Red?
Yeah. No.
Or the second time he won.
Second time.
The second time he won. Okay.
Manifest Destiny was second at a big price.
So December 4th. It's right here.
Right. There you go.
Okay.
I Love Lulu.
So 2 weeks ago. You're 100% right. Yeah, it bothers
Thank you.
me.
Was that a great point?
No.
Or just right? That bothers me that he was entered for 12.5 because that says that, you know what? I could be totally wrong about this, and I don't mean this in any way to be pointing fingers in any way. But one of the things that goes on in the game, which people are aware of, is trainers and owners disagree.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a total guess on my part. I don't want anybody telling me that I'm trying to point fingers at people. But it feels a little bit like maybe Rob wanted to run the horse, and the owner said, you're running him too low. Now, maybe the owner's right, by the way. I'm not saying he's necessarily wrong, but that bothers me a little bit. He was claimed
It's
for
also
12.5.
15 days, and we don't know if it was a vet scratch.
No, he could have been. He could have been, but he's back.
Right.
And he had the claim void 2 back. I'm just a little bit concerned.
He hasn't worked since the scratch.
What is your love of the Queen's Jewels?
He hasn't worked.
This horse at Turf Horse?
He hasn't worked since the scratch, so I think that's important to note. So it's 1/2 of his 6 starts on.
You're going to just start throwing all
track.
those Wayne Potts horses in? Are you following him on Twitter?
That was filthy yesterday. Yeah, I'm following him on
The
Twitter.
horse won by 5 lengths, and you're still
I'm just
whining
no,
about it.
because if I use one pot, I'm supposed to use both.
Big baby.
13,000.
Big baby. I think Shamrock is dangerous, but I think the pace could be too hot for Shamrock in here. So I like Square Shooter, a horse that you had a very good opinion on in Saratoga when he ran second. I think if he runs that race he ran in Saratoga behind Zonic, and he beat, he's the horse that caused my horse Big Mountain to lose. And you know, I feel like I was vindicated because Big Mountain's done back and done nothing but win since that race. But of course, I was on him at the wrong time.
Right.
That race that Sharpshooter ran was really good. And the thing is, he doesn't have to use his speed as much here because there's more speed. So he can let the field come back to him. He doesn't have to keep Big Mountain honest. Now, last time out, he didn't keep Big Mountain honest, but Big Mountain was able to control. I don't see this race being controlled. I thought this horse was a very interesting claim by Antonio Arriaga, who has some good numbers off claims. Not great, but at times he does well with them. I thought this horse was an interesting player because he has the speed to stay close, but he doesn't need to be right on top of it. And I love that race in Saratoga.
This horse can get a piece. This horse can actually
Thank
get a piece. And if it collapses, I mean, I have the horse 4th. If those race collapses, this horse can definitely win today. I'm using this
I appreciate
horse in the
your
big 5.
support.
You're welcome. Definitely using that horse in the big
It
5.
means a lot to me, you know it does. Really, I'm going to shed a tear. Race number 7. Race number 8.
Number 8. Why are you throwing things?
I'm going to admit it, Anthony. I was wrong. I thought you'd pick Snicket. What do you think? Because Christoph's gone to Florida, you're just tossing his horses now?
No. We talked about this yesterday, though.
I want to show Snicket's last race, and I will share my trip opinion. I believe that too frequently people make trips based on one small event in a race without looking at the entire event. And there is no doubt that Joel is very briefly in tight. One thing about Joel is he never gets flustered.
panic.
He never stops riding. And at the end of the day, this was just a crushing beat for you. And if you take a broad overview of Snicket's trip, this is a great trip.
The horse never left the iron.
Right.
Horse stayed on the rail.
And I'll give you an example where people, I think, were fooled by a trip, a similar type trip. Decorated Invader in the Pennine Ridge, because he had a minor amount of traffic slipping through on the inside against horses that were just overmatched.
And then he ran away from them.
And they were he overcame trouble. No, he didn't. He got a perfect trip there. And he, went on.
You do what Joel Rosario does, and that's more often than not save ground. That's going to happen sometimes.
But he also never even,
He
steadies.
it was like the turf sprint, the Philly Stakes in Saratoga, where he never.
Everybody said he got in trouble, and I said, no, he never got in trouble. He could have gotten in trouble.
He made sure he didn't get himself in
but
trouble.
He didn't.
There he couldn't help it because he almost went over the fence. But, like you said, what was that, 6? So for 5.5 furlongs, he's saving every bit of ground. For a second and a half, 2 seconds, it gets a little tight.
5.8
Right,
furlongs.
right.
He had every single
The
thing
hole
go
opens,
right.
you come through. He never lost his momentum. He comes through and he wins.
And was beautiful Karen's performance yesterday? Does it drop the horse another peg? A little bit. I don't know if it's a little apples and oranges.
It does. I mean, she didn't have any excuse yesterday.
Oh, the winner ran.
Winner ran, but
No, I agree.
She didn't
I
have
agree.
any excuse yesterday.
So you got the same horse as me,
I do.
copycat. Go ahead.
Just getting back to a fast track, this horse's numbers at the beginning of the year. I mean, if this horse has a little improvement from the numbers at the beginning of the year, this horse is going to be a monster player.
She needs to show it today, though, doesn't she?
Yeah, but I mean, you think this horse really liked these wet tracks? The race behind Spinning Yarn was much improved last time.
I don't know.
I don't know.
How
I
wet
don't
was
know.
the
I'm
track
hoping it was the
last
wet
time?
tracks.
How wet was the track last time?
No, I know, but look, it was a much better race than the sloppy track.
Do you
race. That's
just
what I'm
like this
trying to
horse
say.
because it was bred by Klarovich?
I didn't even
By the
know- I
way,
didn't even notice
by
that.
the way, your most embarrassing moment as a race caller. Really, just so
I don't know.
humiliating.
Well, come on, could you leave me
No, I
alone,
can't.
man?
I can't.
Please.
Mount Rushmore. I love that.
I said Klarovich instead of Klarovich. A lot going on up there, Andy. I need graphs and charts to explain it to you. You haven't even come up to the booth to visit me.
I don't want to interrupt
I
a
just
genius.
thought of it. I
I
just
don't want
thought
to
of
interrupt
that.
a genius at work.
I just thought of that. You haven't even come.
I'm
to
very
the-
busy in my
Eric
office doing
Donovan
absolutely
came
nothing.
To visit me. I mean, you haven't
Eric's a
even
much
come to
nicer
visit me.
person than I am. I don't think this is news to anybody. I don't think you're. The thing about Honey Money, I thought was, I think she's. The first race she came for layoff and she caught the sloppy seal track. So I'm just going to give her a pass for that race. That was a mess. I mean, that was just a mess at Belmont. It wasn't just sloppy and sealed. It was a mess.
Those
The
closing-
last
closing
race,
day.
closing day, it was freezing, the whole thing. And then she comes back and she gets in a race that's completely dominated up front. And
By
while
a horse
she
that wins a lot of
She
races.
can be forward. She's not really a speed. So now she's in a race where Loon Lake, who I suppose is possible, has enough speed, eloquent speaker supposed to be forward, that I thought she'd get at least a little bit more of an honest pace to sit behind. Today's the day she's supposed to do her best running. I don't totally love her. I like her and eloquent speaker. I thought they're the two, and I'm going to use a little Ruvies in Time. Isn't there an argument that Ruvies in Time has kind of improved? And maybe she was hurt even more than Honey Money last time by the fact that there was really no pace, or the pace totally held together. I mean, you have to admit, Ruvies in Time has improved, Anthony.
She has. She has. I want to, and I know your horse is twice the price, but I thought Banker's Delight was.
She's fine.
The last time when there was no pace for her.
No,
last
she's fine.
time.
I agree. Well,
she
was
gets
also,
a little. She gets a little bit of a.
It's not there was no pace for her last time. She was also running against horses that are
Yeah,
1,000
I
times
understand
better
that,
than
but
she
I'm
is.
saying is there also she was compromised with no pace. I thought she ran pretty well considering the company.
She should have won the Fight on Lucy race.
She should have won the Fight on Lucy
That's what bothers
race,
me
but
about her. That's
I like the fact that she came back with a good effort last time
She's
in the
fine.
Stallion Series race. Yeah.
She's fine. I don't think there's any argument that she's a player in this race. I didn't particularly like Flush, who I never thought she was that good in the dirt. I know she has one big figure, but she really was a better turf horse. We'll see what she does off the long layoff. I tried to make a case for Kinky Socks because she's been in the wrong spots. She's just not good enough to beat these horses. But when she was good, if you look at her races, though, when she stopped, when she was good for the period of like 3 or 4 races, sloppy sail track, 2 turf races, and then 1 mile against Sharp Star. So you can legitimately make excuses for her last 4. The problem is
She even ran well she even ran well enough on the turf because she was in such good form.
Agreed.
What happened last time?
well, I think she's a little above her head. It's a question of they don't want, what are they going to do with her? She ran her conditions after running her open claiming races,
Or
so
you
they
run
give her
her
a shot
these
in numbers
races,
1.
I mean, right,
I
you
think
run
she'll
her
outrun her odds, though. She's going to be 30 to 1, and I bet she runs like she's 12 to 1.
Maybe.
I'm just.
Yeah. Listen.
I wanted to actually make a case for her. The more I looked, I said, I just don't know if she's really good enough, even if everything goes her way.
She's the kind of horse where 4 months ago you maybe when
Well,
she
I
was
think
in
she's
form.
No, I don't think she's out of form.
You
I
don't
just
think
think
she's
she's
out of
been.
form?
Why? Her
Okay.
turf races suggest she's not out of form.
Turf races suggest she might be a turf horse.
And I don't want to throw out her last race. I mean, I don't want to just like dismiss her off her last race. So I'm a little disappointed in the Queens County that Forewarned scratched. I thought he was finally in a spot he could win. I think as we show Backside of the Moon beating Musical Heart, the reason we both went the other direction is we switched to race number 9, Francisco.
It's not even Sunday, Francisco. You don't have an excuse.
He's asleep.
There it is. That's there.
We'll show the replay of that race. Is that Musical Heart had to deal with Wisdom's Chance in that race, and now it's probably in a better controlling position in this race. So I think tactically they look like the right 2, and feels like Musical Heart has a slight tactical advantage today. That's all. And I got a stat for Rudy. Does not have great numbers. Second off a claim off a win in a dirt route.
I hate when the stakes is, in my opinion, this clear cut. I mean, it's these two, right? He has the tactical advantage, Musical Heart, and it's hard for me. It was really hard for me to make a case against that. Like you said, he had to deal with some other speed last time. He doesn't have to deal with that speed today. And he has
they don't
has a
always,
tactical advantage on
They
him.
don't always come back and run as well for Rudy next time. Now, I will say, Backside of the Moon, you're dealing with a horse that's hickory. I mean, he just runs well all the time.
Such a cool horse, 8 years old.
Leo O'Brien did great with him.
Yes, he did.
Our friend David Aragona's favorite horse.
Both of these horses. I mean, this horse.
I get David to partially sponsor this horse when he finds a home when he's done racing. An amazing horse.
Backside of the
Here's
Moon.
my question for you. We'll look at Empty Tide Tomb beating Backside of the Moon. You picked Empty Tomb this day. He beat me out of a lot of money into pick 5. I'm trying to figure out how I lost this race. I really am.
Well,
now, I don't think Backside of the Moon got Joel's best ride of all time that day. Having said that,
This was ran. This was ran in 95.
I know. What other race in his career has he run that gives any indication that he has that race in him?
No, there wasn't. But you know what? The way he ran at Saratoga, it looked like he was kind of sitting on a big race.
Really?
He ran well. I thought he was sitting on a big race.
Really?
I
He
bet
was
on
second and off the turf race, beating a pole?
He ran on that day.
But he's
It was
run like
it was
garbage in the 2
it
straight
was
races.
Yeah.
Do you know that Three Diamonds had the third highest
Said it the
earnings
other
earnings per start in America last year?
Yeah. Now, I'm not.
Overcoming its owner, the owner.
The last race this horse ran, it was one of the wildest run races I had ever seen. Keep talking about this with looking at bikinis didn't go to the lead and Hog Creek Hustle was ahead the whole time. I don't know
agree
what that was a weird ride last time.
But he was forward in a race that stayed forward.
He was forward in the race. And that's the reason.
He's the only horse that was forward in that race that didn't run well.
Everybody else hung around. He didn't get anything.
Third place finisher who got left. I bet the next time he got left.
That's the big issue. That's my biggest issue with him.
I'm going to use him a little bit because somewhere he's got that race. What about Miranok? Is that how you pronounce it? Miranok?
Yeah.
I know you're not a race caller today. You don't have to pronounce the horse's name.
I didn't take a look.
I don't get Danny California, but then again, I guess if that horse could come back to life yesterday for Noda, anything's possible. The problem, once again, with Danny California
From the moon.
is
How good did that horse run yesterday, Scarford Down?
He did. He got a pacer on it, but he ran yesterday, and he has run 2 horrible races in a row. So they're just totally random at this point, the Noda barn. The problem with Noda is it seemed that Danny California got better with more distance. So even if he ran his race, and his last race probably isn't true, now Miranok, didn't he get better with more distance too?
I mean, it was clear.
Seems like it.
It was clearly his best race. Yeah.
Switches to Wesley Ward, trainer switch. A little interesting. I mean, I don't like him, but a little flavor to this race. I like the Queens County was a mile and 3/16, didn't you? Personal Flag won it on Thanksgiving.
My dad had Pizzua's book. He got taken down with shots are ringing.
Wow.
For Julie. I think it was Jimmy Riccio were partners on that horse for Pete Ferriola.
Really?
They put up Overbrook
Shots Are Ringing.
They put up Overbrook and Lucas and
When-
Cordero. Cordero did a great acting job and got put up.
The riders of the past were far better actors than the current group.
They should have Academy
Richard
Awards.
Migliore should have like a class
that
on
guy.
that. Richie knew how to act. He was the greatest. I got put up with Richie like 3 times, but Richie just had the greatest acting job. Listen, you're trying to win. I applaud them. I don't criticize them. When Personal Flag won the Queens County on Thanksgiving Day, in the race before it, I made a score with a horse, Femme Gendarme, who I want to say was first time Rick Dutrow Sr. Of Scotty Schulhofer. And
I remember
he
Scotty.
paid like $70, and they had one of those instant doubles. Because the 4-horse field thing, and it paid $119. I remember that was the good old days.
How great were the instant?
I went into the old Sackett Street OTB where I lived in Sackett and Court in Brooklyn. I'm sure people remember, and I knew the horse had won because I had called him the other day, but I didn't get a price. And I said to somebody, "Horse won the 7th race. Do you remember what it paid?" And the guy said to me, "Oh, it was a big price. Paid $70. Race number 10." A lot of work went into race number 10, but we do have to show the entire race, the Just Right, 7 Lilies, and the Caretaker come out of. And I actually think they all ran reasonably well, and 7 Lilies ran well here. But I think it's important that everybody focus on the horse in the orange silks, and that's the Caretaker. Because if you're wondering why wasn't the Caretaker more forward in here, what happened, I don't know. But this horse had the trip from, this was a nightmare trip for this horse. And part of it, and this is one where Jose losing position, he got him into trouble here, and I think this is one that Jose, if he had it to do over again, he would probably have gotten a different trip. Because he goes down inside at this point and just gets completely, you can see him in those orange silks down the rail towards the back, he just gets completely and totally shuffled out of this race, and the Caretaker ran very well. I have a funny thing, though, about this race. See the gray who's moving outside of him? The gray is actually 7 Lilies. So 7 Lilies, who's the gray who's moving, he makes a run from farther behind. The problem is he's out in the clear making his run, and even now, the Caretaker shuffled back virtually to last here. So there's 7 Lilies in full flight, and he's trying to motivate the Caretaker, and it's not that easy. 7 Lilies, you know that he just galloped out by the field, though, like just blew by everybody? Still, yeah. I'm gonna take the Caretaker horse I've never liked, but I'm gonna take him on top for Tom Morley.
I thank you for showing this race. I appreciate it.
Well, you had to see it because you haven't seen it before, so you might as well see it.
No, I've been having nightmares about that.
Oh,
race
the
for 3
second
weeks.
horse, right? That was tough. I bet the Bronx Bombers next start.
I've seen it.
I bet the Bronx Bombers next start. Guess what happened? He got left.
Well, left in the gate.
It's true. It's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
He made a lot of sense. I do wonder how short he's going to be today. I say that when I'm picking a horse.
I always hated dark money, but he did run okay last time.
He ran okay last time. He's cutting back to what he probably wants to do, 6 to 7. They just, you know, these they make a lot of sense. They almost make too much sense because these races.
What about a potential for a lot of pace in this race and a horse like the 10 Durkin's Call finally getting pace? And isn't he better going a little shorter than a mile? I wonder if a mile's stretching it. Now, Heavy Roller should have won last time, and frankly, Durkin's Call should have caught Big Mountain, but he still gets pace in this race. I don't dismiss 7 Lilies. I'm going to hit it once more getting back to dirt. He got left last time as well. I didn't bet him.
I like Giodoro a little bit last time. What about today? He's cutting back to 7.
Can he rate and win, though?
He might have.
That's the problem.
He's going to have to.
I don't know
But I
if
mean,
he
look
can
what he ran into last time.
I just don't trust him to rate and win. I don't disagree, but I don't trust him to rate and
Listen,
win.
if he's a horse
can
on a spread, I need to have him on my ticket.
I agree.
I need to have him on my ticket.
You make a great point.
Thank you. There it is.
Where is he in there? Oh, he's part of entry, right. I hate entries. Just get rid of entries. No, the 1A is not scratched. Don't give misinformation.
I love Jackson. There's 2 entries in the race. I love Jackson scratched.
I know. You said he scratched. You lied to the fans.
I made a mistake. I didn't lie.
I'd like to think it was a mistake.
This guy just doesn't stop. One more day.
Oh, yeah. One more day. You'll be missing me every day at 11 o'clock. Who you lying to?
Santa's coming,
You, on the other hand, Santa. Yeah. I may be the elf. You're Santa.
Compass.
Head over to NyraBets.com if you're not a member and sign up. Use the promo code MATCH200. We will match them to $200 your initial deposit. What better way to show a loved one that you love them by giving them a NyraBets account? Put $200 in it. We match it. They get $400 to gamble away. What could be better? Play the races. Racing here at Aqueduct's been sensational. Look, there's a gator at Tampa.
That happens a lot.
I know. I've seen that before. You all right?
Allergies.
Really? Okay.
Allergies have been brutal.
Sorry to hear that. Pollen.
Talked about this yesterday.
Anyway.
It's like Groundhog Day.
John and Brielle is up next with a reprise of the scratches.
Take it away,
changes.
John.
Hello, racing fans, and once again, welcome to Aqueduct. A mostly sunny day here at the Big A. Temperature will be in the 30s. The main track is fast. And we have a jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of $117,797. In today's first race, scratch number 3, Capria's Destiny. Scratch the 3. Second race, scratch number 8, Pink Gin. Scratch the 8. In the third race, scratch number 3, Princess Corey. Scratch number 3. In the fourth, scratch number 1, Beaux-Arts. Scratch the 1. Race 5 will kick off the Empire 6. Scratch 6. Quick intro and 7, Bird Ruler. Scratch 6 and 7. In today's sixth race, scratch 4, Big Money Mike. 9, Happy Farm. And 11, Zoomer. Scratch 4, 9, and 11. In the seventh race, scratch number 1, Batter, Batter, Swing. Seventh race, scratch the 1. In the eighth race, scratch number 3, New York Rockstar. Scratch number 3. The ninth race, the Queens County Stakes. Scratch the 6, Forewarned. Scratch number 6. And in the 10th race, scratch the 2B, I Love Jackson. And the 12, Outrageous Bet. Scratch 2B and 12 out of the 10th. Main track is fast. Empire 6 jackpot carryover is $117,797. And please note the mandatory payout is Thursday, December 31st. The Saturday opener at Aqueduct in 27 minutes at 11:50.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com. Need help in finalizing your picks for the next race? Check out the Track Master selections provided by Equibase on every U.S. thoroughbred and harness track on Naira Bets. Use these selections to get quick expert advice from professionals in the business. Check out the thumbs up graphic next to the pick and a wager pad and scroll down for more details on the horse. Track Master selections available on Naira Bets and the Naira Bets app.
It only takes 20 cents to take down an Empire. The Empire 6 is the jackpot 20-cent pick 6 bet that's offered every day at the Big A. One unique winning ticket earns the entire net pool plus the jackpot carryover. Without a unique ticket, 75% is distributed to winners with 25% added to the jackpot. Win big with the Empire 6.
For details on the Empire 6 and mandatory payout dates, visit nyra.com/Empire 6 today.